Hi, my name's Margaret Wooldridge, and I teach the course Introduction to Thermodynamics, Moving Energy from Here to There. We talk about the different ways we generate energy in the world today and why we want to change the way we generate energy around the world. My goals were to generate a series of presentations on thermodynamics that could be used both by students at the University of Michigan and that would communicate a message that I think we are very effective at locally at the University of Michigan, which is to understand all of the complexities associated with energy and how we want to transition to new ways of using energy. And the MOOC would allow us to reach a much larger audience. And hopefully that might motivate those people to come to the University of Michigan, follow up with additional University of Michigan courses, and other type of opportunities. So by teaching this MOOC, I learned a lot about myself. I learned in particular a lot of new tools that we would need to use that are different than teaching an online course for a smaller audience or for teaching an on-campus audience. Some of those skills and tools I'm able to leverage back to the on-campus offering. And sometimes I was able to leverage, well, most of the time I was able to leverage the tools that we had developed on campus to this broader audience. So previously, we essentially packaged our courses to about the same number of students, and they would be distributed throughout the United States or throughout the world. So we'd have to accommodate time changes and kind of issues associated with maybe international languages and, some just how do you manage courses that have a diverse group of people located in a number of different regions. But it was all very small scale. My courses that I taught were predominantly less than, let's say, 60, 90 students when we were doing online offering. So scope here, of course, with MOOCs is huge, and that makes it so you have to have a very different approach. I could use email as my primary communication mechanism when I was teaching 60, 70 students. You can't manage email when you're teaching tens of thousands of students. So you really have to have a whole new set of tools in your toolbox to effectively communicate and to actually engage and have an impact with the scale of the students. We went into the MOOC thinking we were going to have a very global, very international audience. And so you really think about the context of the material that you present from a much more global way. So of course, I give a lot of Michigan type examples for our on-campus class, but it also allows me to contextualize those types of examples and say, okay, well, now this was the example that we had for Michigan. What's the example in Brazil or Beijing or Europe? So it did allow me to really kind of step back, think, and develop material that was much more global, that helps our students on campus who live in a much more connected, much more global environment, more globally aware environment, for them to hear those examples, to talk about issues that are relevant not just to the United States, but relevant around the world. So we do a lot that simplifies the theory and the technology in order to make it tractable in our course. But I'd like to show folks that these are real devices. So we'll give examples of actual boilers compared to what we actually study in our class. So we'll go next to a jet engine and say, hey, this is a jet engine. These are the components you just learned to analyze. Show them an internal combustion engine and say, hey, this is how complex this machine is. But at the very basic level, we have a very clear understanding of what improves the thermodynamic efficiency of these devices. So this allows us in particular with digital education like MOOC is to actually bring students virtually to the campus and show them all the type of work that we're doing here, all the examples that exist here, and really showcase the skills and the tools that we have on campus. I guess my best piece of advice is prepare your lectures as you would expect to, prepare your videos as you would expect to, but also take some time and have a map and, just really set aside time to make sure that you have a good understanding of how the flow will occur on the website, that how the flow will occur throughout each week. So again, just having a really good understanding. So if you can prepare ahead of time, then you could actually take your own course, which would be the best thing to do.